Have you ever taken revenge on your exes, bosses, girlfriends? Revenge is bad and low, but when you are severely offended and a veil of anger covers all your eyes, it is very difficult to control yourself. I'm not speaking for everyone, but it happens to many people, including me. Sometimes I listen to stories of friends or acquaintances about revenge and am surprised at their courage and sophistication. One burned her boyfriend's passport for some kind of insult. Another injected her rotten eggs into his car door. The third arrived at her ex's cottage at night, climbed through the window, and stole several bottles of expensive cognac, which he so carefully kept for a special occasion. In general, there is no limit to human imagination. Personally, I've never taken revenge on my men, although sometimes I really wanted to hide it. But one day there was a desire to take revenge on his boss. It was a few years ago. This boss came to work for us, and I was assigned to him as an assistant. But he turned out to be a rare bastard. After some time, he began to bully me, put sticks in the wheels of my work, humiliate me as a person, threaten and create stressful situations. He didn't even greet me ostentatiously, but only snorted at my hello. Work has become a torment for me. I was walking there and my stomach was already starting to curl from stress. One day I stood up for myself, responded to his behavior, but received threats from him that he had connections and could make me look for a job for a long time. Remember these words. I understood that he was leading to firing me. Well, one day, he solemnly and officially declares it to me, and he adds that he will give me time to find a new job. What a noble thing to do, but only so that I don't look for it during working hours. That's such a noble freak. I could have stopped taking it all, told him to fuck off, written a letter of leave and gone nowhere. But, at that time, I had big problems at home. My mother had a terrible diagnosis. She was undergoing serious treatment, and the family needed money. Therefore, I could not go anywhere and count on the support of my family. I had to somehow hold on to my job and endure the attacks. I would like to note that I came to this job still very green, inexperienced. I was still studying at the university, and did not fully know and understood my rights. Realizing that he was a bad person and not clean, I somehow brought him various documents to sign, and I also slipped him a doc where he agreed to access his work email. Got a ride. He signed it, the idiot, and didn't even realize that he had signed it. The IT guys gave me access, and I began to read his numerous correspondence. Of course, there were a lot of letters about me, where he wrote to the HR department and told them made-up stories about how I let myself raise my voice at him. I'm rude to him every day. I don't work, and a lot of other similar nonsense. But I was able to dig up something better. There was correspondence, and more than one with one of the bosses, where he ridicules the appearance, mental abilities of colleagues and subordinates, and in terrible words and in a humiliating way. And this was done all day long, meaning he didn't really do anything else, just gossip. Anger just clouded my mind. My plan was to write a statement, and on the last day, come to work very early with his correspondence already printed out, put it on everyone's desk, emphasizing the most interesting things in advance, and leave in silence. Do you remember the movie, Violent Games, with Reese Witherspoon? How did she print out and replicate the protagonist's personal diary? Here's a similar case for me. I just can't imagine his anger, curses at me, shame, despair, and how he would look into the eyes of his colleagues after such a thing. How would he feel? His reputation would have been destroyed. Everything turned out even better than I wanted. And thank God, while I was working for this freak, I was simultaneously helping a boss and a beautiful woman. When she found out that I was going to leave, she raised the alarm, reached the top management, and did everything to ensure that I was officially assigned to her on very good terms. She saved me from oppression and job loss. As a result, I no longer have the reputation of being a vindictive person. I came out of all this clean, and the top management was very unhappy that my boss was deciding who to fire behind their back. It became alert and pointed a gun at him. In general, he was fired 6 months later in disgrace, and as I found out later, he couldn't find a job for a very, Very long time. About more than a year. Maybe because the management left bad recommendations about him. Or the management turned out to be very well connected. In any case, his threats have returned to him. From this story, I realize that revenge is very sweet, of course. But life will actually avenge you on its own. The boomerang law exists. No matter how you are offended and no matter how angry you are, revenge is stupid, meaningless, and it can negatively affect you later. Therefore, the phrase, "Don't take revenge, but forgive and you'll see how life will smear them for you," makes sense. You may not be able to say that, but these are all the laws of the universe. Our task is to always be kind to each other, responsive and decent. But if someone is doing something bad to us, it's better to silently draw a conclusion and move away. Life will put everything in its place by itself.